Welcome to Choreographer Talk. My name is Jane D'Angelo. I'm the executive director of OhioDance and the co-producer of the OhioDance Festival. Today, our guest choreographer is Jared Warren, a recent graduate of Kent State University. Jared hopes to cultivate a cathartic experience for his audiences through every choreographic and performance endeavor. His choreography, Puritans of Prey, will be performed at the OhioDance Festival Sunday, April 27th, 2025 at 3:15 p.m. The concert is held at the Ohio State University Department of Dance, Sullivant Hall, and we will put information in the description with a link to purchase tickets. So, Jared, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We'd love to know a little bit about the piece that's going to be performed at the festival. Can you tell us something?
Absolutely. So Puritans of Prey is a physically interpretive exploration concerning the concepts of predator versus prey and birds of prey through the lens of the Salem witch trials. It's heavily inspired by Arthur Miller's The Crucible, and it seeks to stimulate audiences by exploring idealisms of pack mentality, peer pressure, status, and the hysteria ensued when women are pitted against other women for means of survival in a world dictated by men.
Okay, a nice light subject.
Exactly. Yes, it definitely has some heavier themes in it, and that's definitely explored through the movement, and the dancers portray that very well. Um, but yeah, so
Great. Well, I like knowing that it's about the Crucible. So, now that you've let us know that, people can read the Crucible. So then they will, if they haven't already, or maybe they'll read it again if they haven't read it for a
exactly.
while.
Exactly. Yeah. In preparation for the piece, I actually did a lot of research on the Salem witch trials as well as the Crucible by Arthur Miller itself, and so that informed a lot of my decisions within the piece.
Right. And did you go to Salem?
No, I've never been to Salem, but it is on my bucket list. I would absolutely love to. But yeah, I also pulled a lot of inspiration from other like productions of the Crucible that I found throughout, and kind of uh, seeing how they interpreted the story and how that may inform my decisions and how I may want to differ from that.
Yeah. And did you have the dancers read the story?
Most of them had already read the story, which was very helpful coming in. So luckily, yeah, I feel like The Crucible is definitely one of those plays that is read in high school. So I was very lucky that most all of my performers had already known the story, or at least were very familiar with it.
Right. So I have another question for you. How do you approach the process of choreographing a new work?
Approaching the process of choreographing a new work, I feel is something that is always unique for me in the piece that I'm doing. And for specifically this piece, like I said, it was inspired by already a historical event and um, an existing plot structure. And so I wanted to emulate the stories and the history that I had learned about. And so I did a lot of research, again, like I had said, on the Salem witch trials and the Crucible. And from there, I came up with my own narrative, my own plot structure that I wanted to convey to my audiences. And um, yeah, from there, it was just a lot of time alone in the studio, looking at myself in the mirror, saying, "What am I doing?" But yeah, it was a lot of finding the movements that always went back to my theme and always went back to my plot throughout the whole process, from me alone in the studio to me alone in the studio to in the room with the dancers to tech. It always go went back to, does this make sense? Does the narrative make sense? Are the themes resonating with audiences, with my own dancers themselves? Do they understand it? The movement is also very character based. The work is made up of two soloists and an ensemble, and I think it was very important to establish um, predator and prey, and to establish um, the the sense of the other within the piece. And it was constantly kind of going back to those ideas and making sure that they were consistent throughout and that they were specific for each character, but also existed within the context of the movement style. Um, so yeah, it was a lot of work for myself alone in the beginning, and then getting in the room with the dancers and just editing and critiquing, and then going back to the drawing board and starting something new. Yeah, that's kind of how Puritans of Prey came to be.
So how long was the process?
The process, I actually had gotten the idea for Puritans of Prey maybe 6 months before I actually had started rehearsals. And then from there, I used that kind of 6 months to sporadically research the piece. And then once rehearsals started, it was about 2 months of rehearsals until we got into our first live performance. And yeah,
So it took a while.
yeah, it was definitely a long time. I remember I started research in the summer and it performed in the winter, so it was quite a while for it to come to its full fruition.
Well, we look forward to the piece. It's exciting and energetic, and knowing the backstory is great. So thank you for sharing.